Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching from. Accept warm greetings from me. For today's video, I'd like to discuss about the pros and cons of working in rural or urban Thailand. Perhaps you're a new teacher who just came into the kingdom and you're looking forward to working in Thailand long term, but you are not sure if you should seek for employment in the city or the villages. If that's you, keep watching because for today's live session I will try to explain the advantages and disadvantages of obtaining a job in the city or rural Thailand. Before we continue, I'll call on you to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are a new visitor, but if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the love and support. So let's quickly begin. Rural area simply refers to less developed parts in Thailand. Like every other country, there are major and minor cities. So in this video, the first focus is on rural area, which refers to villages in the kingdom. There are many expats who live in Thailand and they live in different places in the kingdom. There are those that enjoy city life, while there are others who rather stay in the villages, and it all boils down to what you desire as a comfortable life. So let us assume that you wish to stay in rural Thailand. Here are some of the advantages that you tend to enjoy if you live and work in rural Thailand. One, you will enjoy quietness as compared to urban areas where there is noise, the hustling and bustling atmosphere in urban areas is quite annoying as compared to rural areas where it's relatively calm and quiet. As a teacher, you may enjoy such calm atmosphere because it gives you inspiration to perhaps do further reading, further studies, and plan for your lessons or other academic stuff that you may want to engage in. Again, another advantage to live in rural Thailand is that the accommodation is quite cheap and affordable. Homes in rural Thailand is not as expensive as compared to homes in the cities. Therefore, if you live in a rural environment, you may end up spending less as compared to someone that lives and works in the city. So this is a point you may want to consider. The next advantages of life in rural Thailand is that food is equally cheap. If you live in these places, you get to pay less as far as food is concerned. For example, a plate of fried rice in rural area might cost 30 baht, but if you compare this same dish to urban areas like Bangkok, perhaps it's 60 baht to 100 baht. Food is quite affordable in rural Thailand. If you intend to live in rural environment, then you enjoy low living standard, and this will help you to save more. Another benefit of you living in rural Thailand is that you get to meet and experience Thai culture firsthand with the local Thais. For those that are willing to accept challenges, when you live in rural Thailand, you get to experience Thai culture firsthand because you immerse yourself in the way of the life of the people. You are in direct communication with locals, and this can be quite intriguing because you get to learn many aspects of the culture. In fact, if you are really interested in Thai language, immersing yourself in the culture by living in a rural area will help to quickly boost your language skills. So these are some of the advantages that you would definitely have if you live in rural Thailand. Let us look at the other side of the coin, disadvantages of living in rural Thailand. The first one is that when you live in rural Thailand, there is difficulties in terms of movement, like very limited means of transport. Usually they have buses that run to the city, scheduled buses that run to the city. If you live here, you need to plan everything because these buses leave the villages to the city perhaps 3 times in a day, very early in the morning, later in the afternoon, and late in the evening. There is no flexibility. You have to plan your time in order to catch these buses that heads to the city. so there is limited means of transport. Another disadvantage is that you may experience language barrier. Since it's your first time to like stay in the kingdom, and it's most likely you can conveniently express yourself in Thai, and you happen to find yourself in a rural environment, communication might be difficult because most Thais can express themselves in English. They expect you to try and communicate in Thai language, and if you can't speak, this might be a problem. Communication may be difficult, although there are some Thais in rural environment who can actually speak English, perhaps due to their exposure. If you are lucky, you may find a few of these persons that can at least express themselves in English. Then they might help you with translation. Otherwise, communication will be a challenge. Another disadvantages of living in rural Thailand is that you may tend to have like little things to see and small expat community, yeah, as compared to major cities. If you think of major cities like Pattaya, Phuket, Bangkok, there are lots of expats there. It's a huge expat community. You get to meet people from different culture as compared to rural Thailand, where you might be in your work environment alone, or you get to see few faces. And again, there isn't much to travel and see because rural areas are characterized by local markets and perhaps coffee shops. This might pose a problem if you're somebody that loves to travel. Another disadvantages of life in rural Thailand is the fact that you have limited job opportunities as compared to major cities. With major cities, there are always schools looking for teachers. This gives you the upper hand to like choose the job that is best for you. But if you compare this with rural Thailand, there might just be few schools looking for a teacher, and once that space is occupied, the cycle runs until the end of the school year before they will be in need of a new teacher. Therefore, if you are there, you have very limited options. In fact, you are indirectly compelled to stay in the job that you have. These are the pros and cons as far as life is concerned in rural Thailand. Let us look at the other side of the coin, which is living in big cities or metropolitan areas in Thailand. Perhaps you are somebody who enjoys life in bigger cities. You may want to work in places like Surat Thani, Phuket, Chonburi, Chiang Mai, besides Bangkok. These are all major touristic areas in Thailand. And again, life in such places has its advantages and disadvantages. What is important is for you to weigh the option, know what is best for you, and then you can decide where you want to work, whether it's city life or life in rural areas. So to look at the advantages of life in the city, let us quickly begin. Like advantages here, you think of huge means of transportation. If you live in the huge touristic sites in Thailand like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, there are different varieties of transportation. You think of BTS, that is the mass transit service, SkyTrain. It takes you to work. Movement is quite convenient. You equally think of motorbikes, tricycles, otherwise known as tuk-tuk within the kingdom. With these good means of transportation, movement is quite easy. If you are not a fan of motorbikes or tricycles, you can equally use taxis. This will help you to move around quite easily as compared to rural Thailand, where mode of transportation may be limited to just a public van. Therefore, if you like to work in a city, be rest assured that you will have varieties of transportation. The next advantage of living in big cities is that you get to relate and meet people. Like I earlier mentioned, the expat community in big cities is quite high. Like you have a lot of expats around. You get to meet people from different cultural backgrounds. You interact and you share your experience. This helps you to learn more stuffs about life as a whole, and you wouldn't feel bored because you get to discuss and meet people on a daily basis. This is one good point of life in bigger cities in Thailand. Another advantage of living in bigger cities in Thailand is that you get to travel. You get to travel and enjoy life in the kingdom, the best that life has to offer as far as Thailand is concerned. Supposing you are in the capital, Bangkok, there are a lot of places you can visit in your free time. As a teacher, perhaps you're free during the weekends. You can spend your weekends traveling around. You think of the old ancient temples, you think of the natural environment that you may want to visit within the province or out of the province. You think of the beautiful shopping malls or exotic movie theater that you may want to go to. Lots and lots of things that will definitely keep you busy. This is another advantage of life in major city like Bangkok. And another good point of life in major cities is that you have many options as far as employment is concerned. Since there are many schools in bigger cities, it's quite easy for you to decide where you want to work because you have many options available for you. It's normal that if you're highly qualified, more than one or two schools will offer you employment. This gives you the upper hand to like decide which works best for you, maybe in terms of salary and work hours. You can only enjoy this privilege in an urban area. So those points, if it's for you, then it should be what you should consider as to why you may want to live in urban Thailand or the biggest cities. But like I mentioned, in everything there is the good and bad. What are the disadvantages of life in urban Thailand or metropolitan Thailand? If you live in metropolitan Thailand, it's but normal that you face some challenges. The first one here you think of noise pollution, like the level of noise in bigger cities in Thailand is quite high. You think of entertainment pubs, you think of traffic, you think of industries around. I mean, it's unbearable. If you're somebody who doesn't like noise, you may find this quite difficult. So you have to consider this point. If you don't like noise, then life in urban Thailand wouldn't be good for you. The next disadvantages of life in urban Thailand is the fact that things are very expensive. Like I mentioned in the earlier part of this video, when you live in rural Thailand, things are much more affordable. You think of food, which is twice as cheap as compared to that in the main urban areas. So if you're in a bigger city, you tend to spend more. Plates of food that you may buy in a village in Thailand for 30 baht, you might end up buying this same plate of food for 100 baht in a bigger city. So you should be willing to spend more. And spending more isn't just limited to your food. You equally think of your dress and cosmetics. You tend to spend more. So if you're living in urban Thailand, make sure your wallet is thick. Make sure you have enough money to spend. Another disadvantage of life in urban Thailand is a routine check, maybe from police or immigration officers, especially if you're somebody that spends his or her time outside, perhaps traveling or drinking. Make sure when you go out to travel, you carry along your passport and work permit. If an immigration officer stops you on the way and demands to see your passport and you can't provide that, you might incur a fine, which is 500 Thai baht for not carrying your passport. So make sure that when you go out, you have your passport with you. And if you intend to like have a personal means of transport like motorbike or perhaps car rentals, make sure you have your driver's license or motorbike license, because if police get to stop you on the way and they check and see that you don't have any of these documents that qualifies you to drive in the kingdom, they will definitely charge you. This is a disadvantage of living in bigger cities as compared to rural area where nobody will bother much to stop you, talk less of checking if you have the right documents or not. I hope these few tips helps you to decide where to work in Thailand. And if you're a new teacher still settling in the kingdom, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section of any of my videos on the channel, and I'll respond to your question. Share. Remember, a problem shared is a problem solved. Never be shy. I'm here for you guys, and be rest assured that I'll always respond to your questions as best as I can. And before I end this live session, I would like to introduce memberships on this channel. If you check my YouTube page, you get to see different membership perks there with different privilege. Subscribe to that which best suits your budget, and of course you get to enjoy these privileges. And super chat as well, you can make use of super chat to say thank you for the content which I'm creating. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, and of course press the share button. This information might help a friend or family member of yours who intends to travel and live in Thailand long term. Until then, see you next time. Bye.